Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and yeah, that title is very misleading. I expected a completely different kind of film.
I blew up the baby!
Brings back Wayne Szalinski, again played by Rick Moranis, but this time he and his wife Diane now have a baby called Adam, who is a little shit. No, seriously, this little arsehole does absolutely everything to piss off everyone in the house and cause misery wherever he goes.
Unable to abort!
And another experiment goes wrong where Wayne is attempting to reverse the shrinking process, and yep, you guessed it, Adam becomes a giant. The funny thing is, it wasn't even intended to be a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was initially called Big Baby, about a toddler growing to be a giant, so it's about a baby or a toddler, due to an accident with a growth ray and then terrorizing Las Vegas like Godzilla. Is that racist?
Uh-oh.
But as the script was finished, Disney saw their opportunity to cash in, and they rewrote the script but with the Szalinski family involved. Except there was no sister, so Amy rushes off to college right at the start of the movie and vanishes into the abyss. Over 1,000 children were considered for the part of Adam, before landing on twins Daniel and Joshua Shalika, but it still wasn't easy working with children. One would act in the morning and the other would take over in the afternoon. On his own, Dan was almost too adventuresome to repeat one move, and Josh seemed very cautious. Put them together and they could do anything. Danny was generally better at improvising and fresh reactions. Josh was better at following directions, so we would alternate. One crew member described the experience as playing hopscotch on hot coals.
How bad can it be?
Grease director Randall Kleiser was chosen to replace Joe Johnston, and filming took place in Simi Valley, California, and later Las Vegas. Some special effects were done in post-production, but like before, most were practical on the set. Miniature furniture was created for the baby to hold, while the adult actors would stand at a distance to give off the illusion of looking smaller. There are some scenes where the giant Adam is seen sparsely, and they have to lie to cover it up. But in this case, he was played by Alex Daniels, wearing a 40-pound electronic-headed Adam suit. He had to study the mannerisms and movements of a toddler while somehow getting this to be obvious through a heavy, clumsy costume. The outfit was so hot a coolant system was installed inside, but it was still too much, and the scenes sometimes had to be stopped due to Alex struggling with the performance.
Well, that doesn't concern you.
But like before, this film was also sued for plagiarism, as director Paul Alter claimed to have come up with the idea of a giant toddler after having babysat his granddaughter and watching her knock over some building blocks. He had a screenplay called Now That's a Baby that hadn't been produced yet. Much like the final film, this script had the child become a giant due to a genetic experiment gone wrong. But this time he actually won the lawsuit, and Disney had to pay him $300,000.
Fantastic.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid was released on July the 17th, 1992, and ended up grossing a total of $96 million to mixed reviews. Some enjoyed it for maintaining the charm, but others felt it ran out of ideas, had one joke, and that the movie could have been resolved in 5 minutes. Though most did universally agree about the impressive special effects. But let me tell you, this movie finds it absolutely hilarious to have people faint when they see a giant baby. And boy, do they love big puns.
Your hands are getting bigger now.
You're getting to be a big boy.
There's nobody bigger than Wayne Newton in this town.
Time to get large.
Sure starting to get big.
To be fair, the opening credits do a good job trying to mirror the charm of the original, but this one goes on for so much time. I guess the original did as well, but this time it just doesn't have the same feel, and it takes 7 years to end. Look at it!
I hear he's some kind of inventor.
Ah yes, and after successfully inventing a shrinking device that clearly works, Wayne Szalinski still isn't famous. I mean, we find out he made his kids promise not to tell anyone what happened in the last movie.
Remember we made you kids promise never ever to tell anyone you were accidentally shrunk and lost for 2 days?
But surely once he realized how it worked, he'd then be able to prove it to other people and he'd be a rich and successful scientist. He proved it worked and there's still people who don't know who he is.
I guess your father's about the most famous guy in the world today.
Which means he'll be forgotten about in the next one. It also turns out he sold the rights to his invention too, because he's an idiot. And of course, they all completely ignore the one person who knows how the invention works. These are also genius scientists who can't seem to figure out that this is a damn bunny. They think it's an alien.
It's a baby and a stuffed bunny.
Alright, that was funny. The boss mocks Wayne for not knowing what he's doing, despite him literally being the only one who was able to work it out. Then he gets fired, but he still hangs around, desperately trying to remain in the plot. He even tries to assassinate the damn kid. What the hell? I mean, he says they're tranquilizers, but still. Although they seem to have the aim of Helen Keller. To be fair, it is quite sad and emotional as Adam cries and everyone looks on and remembers that he's not a monster at all and he is still a child. The film is quite sweet and does have some heart. Most of the scenes between Wayne and Adam are completely improvised by Rick Moranis, depending depending on what the kid did and said. And it is really charming. He does an amazing job at it.
I'll be the waiter, okay? And let me take your order. What would you like?
You want the duck?
Duck. The duck is not very good tonight. Can I recommend the special? Okay, fine.
Honestly, Moranis is a treasure and he deserves a lot more credit. His character's certainly a lot more likable in this one when he interacts with the kid, which is rare because he never keeps an eye on him. He nearly runs into the street at one point, and they never learn. No matter how many times he escapes, they still don't pay any attention to him.
Oh no, all you have to do is just watch him, really.
Yeah, and you can't even do that. He hires a babysitter called Mandy, played by Kerry Russell, who, by the way, has a serious attitude problem.
I like charge $2.50 an hour. Unless, of course, I actually have to do anything like change diapers or clean up or something. Now, can I come in? I'm already charging you.
We changed our mind, that's all. We don't need a babysitter.
I don't think so.
And of course, she just so happens to be the girl that Nick has a crush on at his summer job, so she can be more relevant to the plot. She's not. She serves absolutely no purpose.
So when I get home, he'll take a late nap.
No, no.
Honey, we don't say the N-word around 2-year-olds.
Wow, this got dark. It is sweet though when he's able to calm him down. Not sure why it takes Adam so long to blow up though. Everything else shrinks or blows up instantly. In fact, his mum blows up straight away later in the film. They even say they need to be still for 12 seconds to be shrunk, despite this not being the case in the previous film, or Adam clearly being still for that amount of time and them still not doing it. That was most people's problem with the film. All he would have to do is reverse the shrinking process of his own invention, which is in storage now. But it takes way too long to think of this. We have the whole process of taking him back to the lab, then they go home, and then you've got antics there, and then oh shit, it's in storage! Jesus, apparently Adam is Electro. Sometimes the effect of Giant Adam are shit, but then they're pretty good, it's weird. Although sometimes they just really haven't aged very well, and neither of the lines.
A friend of mine.
Well, what language was he speaking?
Yugoslavian.
You let a foreigner into the lab.
Not a foreigner.
Daddies mean fun. Mommies mean business.
Sexist. It is pretty funny how the family are frantically trying to control a 7-foot toddler as the neighbours hear all of the carnage and act like they've never seen their weird-ass mailbox before for some reason. And somehow they're able to construct this giant playpen this quickly.
Not too many guys can come up with something like this in half an hour.
And are you telling me he can rip a door off its hinges but he can't pull this playpen down? It's made of rope! It is pretty messed up that people hear Mandy scream for help and they all decide to completely ignore her. Seems accurate. I don't get why the big bad boss is allowed past the police to look at the Zelinsky house though. It's a crime scene! I can't lie, Adam becoming Godzilla is actually pretty cool. How did Honey or Shrunk the Kids give us a monster terrorizing a city before Jurassic World? Then again, he still doesn't destroy any buildings. God damn it, Hollywood, how hard is it? But what is it with these movies and characters eating shit that is clearly unsanitary? It's food left inside a toddler's pocket, you nasty.
Who can drive an ice cream truck real fast?
I can burn rubber.
I have never seen somebody so excited to drive an ice cream truck before. So they figure out that electricity is causing his growth even though the mum gets blown up and she's instantly the same size as him, but shh!
Attention all casinos! Wait for my signal to turn off your lights.
Why haven't they already turned them off by now? It's also pretty damn impressive that at no point in the entire film does Adam ever need to use the toilet. It's crazy.
That's for saving my life.
After, endangering it in the first place. Wait, so Mandy doesn't see the giant Wayne looking right at them? Did the movie forget that the kids are the ones that are hard to see and not the other way around?
What are we gonna do with this?
Shrink it? It's kind of what you do. Did you forget what movie you're in? To be honest, it's actually not that bad. Yeah, it's not as great as the original, but it does have some cool ideas, and the visuals aren't too bad either. It does have some heart and charm, and I think they were trying to give us something new. It is an alright follow-up, and it is worth watching. It's just not great.